Hey guys, this is the Chaotic Dragon here again, and today what I've got for you is a budget sworn, Lightsworn deck profile. Now, uh, basically what I've done here is I'm going to do something a little different today. I'm going to give you the deck profile as I usually do, and then I'm going to talk about budget. So then we're going to talk about money as it relates to this deck. So, first things first, one Wolf, 3 Photon Thrasher, 1 Garoth, 3 Fairy Tale Snow, 3 Raidens, 1 Lila, 1 Trick Clown, 2 Dragodius, the Empowered Warrior, 1 Electromagnetic Turtle, 3 Lumina, 1 Grand Maju, however you say that, 1 Red Resonator, 1 Glow Up Bulb, 3 Solar Recharge, 1 Instant Fusion, 1 Reinforcements of the Army, 1 Ties of the Brethren, 1 Soul Charge, 1 Foolish Burial, 2 Charge of the Light Brigade, 2 Twin Twisters, 1 Swords of Concealing Light, 1 Empowerment, Rise to Full Heights, Breakthrough Skill, Warning, Elder Engineer Norden, Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, Trishula, Scarlight, Zira, Black Feather Dragon, Michael, Black Rose, Stardust Charge, Samsara, Antiluminescent Knight, Castell, Direwolf, Bujinte Tsukiyomi, and Levier the Sea Dragon. And as per all of my decks, please ignore the sideboard here. These are for random decks I come across online. Some of them are relevant to the meta I play at my locals, so you can feel free to ignore this and put whatever works best for you. Now, the reason why this deck is budget is because most of these cards I've built are cards I already owned. The only newest cards I've added to my addition out of this deck were the Dragodius and the Empowerment. Lucky me, I got to test them and see how they work. And if this gets enough, at least 10 views, I will post the video of the duels involving this deck. Now, the goal of this deck, obviously, is to search, and overwhelm the opponent. As you've seen from the previous version, we've taken out the Judgment Dragons and gone for more of a thin the deck out type deck. So we have our play starters, Thrasher, Red Resonator, and our newest card I would consider a play starters in our spells. We've got Empowerment, Ties of the Brethren, and Soul Charge, because these 3 spells kind of can get our plays going if we don't really have much going in our hand. The idea here is to fill up the graveyard, and a lot of people look at Dragodius and they're like, what is his purpose? The purpose of Dragodius is, 1, he kind of acts like a pseudo-honest, and he's a light warrior, which is very important for the Ties of the Brethren spell. You'll need this because with Photon Thrasher, Garoth, Dragodius, and Raiden are all warriors, and then of course you have Trick Clown, Lila, and Fairy Tale Snow, which are all spellcasters, which we can use with Ties of the Brethren to not only thin out the deck, but increase our board presence, putting more monsters on the board, which means it's more intimidating for the opponents to go up against. Preferably, you want to do this with warriors, because you want to get Garoth and Raiden on the board at the same time, because with this, it's the equivalent of having that card Minerva. So, basically, what we're doing is we're doing a little bit of a different play. We're actually using the same number of cards to really get the same result. Whereas in Minerva Sworn, you would combine 2 cards that are level 4 to make Minerva mill 3 and hopefully draw cards based on your Lightsworns, alright, that were sent. Basically, we're doing the same thing. The only difference is we're hoping to get Thrasher, Garoth, Raiden, or Dragodius out, combine it with Ties of the Brethren, which is your 2-card combo. It would be the same as if you had done Thrasher and another level 4. And then you'll get out Garoth or Raiden. The idea is you want these 2 on the board. And the reason why this play is a little bit better is because we increase the number of cards on the board. We're playing Wolf and Clown because they come back from the grave. Snow, the same reason. Also, Snow, Clown, and Lila make a secondary play for that move. So if you draw Ties of the Brethren and you don't have a warrior and you have a level 4 spellcaster, you basically have the same play. It's a little weaker, obviously, but, putting a Clown on the board that can defend your life points, Fairy Tale Snow to flip something face down, and Lila to mill, and or get rid of back row is still decent. Plus, you know, you're gonna use Regeki, Darkhold. They're gonna use these cards right away, so good for us. All right, and then Soul Charge, same concept. Mill with Raiden, put a bunch of cards in the graveyard, bring them back. It's a plus. And then of course we got Empowerment, which is a wonderful field spell because we discard a card like, oh, say a dead wolf or a thrasher we can't summon for some odd reason, or a clown or an electromagnetic turtle. We just mill one of these cards we can't use. Or rather, not mill, but you discard them, and then we get Dragodias for free. So it's like playing a third Dragodias almost, but this card is also increasing the power of our dragons, our warriors, and our spellcaster, which the majority of the deck is. Like, even if we go into the extra deck, the majority of the extra deck monsters fit in those three categories. Oh, let's see here. We got, I want to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Our Xyz monsters don't fit in that category, but the majority of our synchros do, except for one. And then, of course, Norden, but he's never around long enough for it to matter anyway. So, also, the Empowerment field spell, when we use it, get a chance to use it. If we don't get a chance to use it, no big deal, banish it off of Fairy Tale Snow. If we do get to use it, it can make cards like Garoth, Raiden, Fairy Tale Snow over 2,000 2,000 or more attack points, which makes them exponentially more dangerous. Which is good news for us. And then, of course, we have our Leviair here. Bring back our Grand Maju if we have to banish it. Fugente is another replacement for Minerva, since we don't have it, and it's a heck of a lot cheaper. Direwolf, back row removal for the most part. Castell, get rid of face-up cards. Antiluminescent Knight, this card is MVP, and is so under radar that people just, like, they don't even think about it. But really being able to redirect, like, I cannot tell you many times I have made my opponent blow up their own cards when they try to blow up mine. And all I've had to do is use Antiluminescent Knight to do it to redirect their targets. Samsara, mostly just another way to get to a Hot Red Dragon Archfiend. Charge Warrior, draw, attack everything. If we got Empowerment out, he's 2,300, which makes him a lot easier to run over a bunch of stuff. Most of the time we just use him as a draw card, because why would you want to leave this card and a non-level 4 monster out most cases? You don't want to do that. So, Black Rose, we still get to blow up the board even though we're not playing Judgment Dragon. We've still got our own way to do it. Michael, obvious, we play Lightsworn. Black Feather Dragon. This card serves as another Minerva replacement due to the fact that if we take any kind of damage, we get to mill 5, which we can do that with Trick Clown and Rise to Full Heights. Basically, with Trick Clown, we take 1,000 damage to summon him out, so therefore we get to mill 5 if he's out. Rise to Full Heights, make your opponent attack the weaker monster, take a little bit of damage, mill 5 cards, and basically end the battle phase, because after that they can't swing anymore. Angel of Zera, this card helps to make Fairy Tale Snow cheaper, because what can happen is when he gets banished, the next standby phase, in the next turn, he'll come back. So therefore, Fairy Tale Snow is really only banishing 6 cards instead of the usual 7. Scarlight, another basically Judgment Dragon replacement, as he blows up all the monsters. Trish will banish 3, and our Walking Solemn, Hot Red Dragon Abyss. If you combine Hot Red Dragon Abyss and Antiluminescent Knight, you've basically got your opponent down. Elder Entity Norden, bring back a monster, make a rank 4 or level 8 Synchro or whatever. And that's our deck in a nutshell. Now I did the math for this deck, and the whopping price tag for this deck, if you can get it, everything on the cheap end is $169, and this is a really good value. These cards, for the most part, and this is, we're talking like, you get all the commons from your locals for like a dime each. You know what I mean? We get that. Then you get a $5 card here, and most of this money comes right here, because roughly it's about like 30 some odd dollars for the main deck. That's assuming you get commons and all. Now, if you go, it's going to be closer to 200 if you buy everything online for its higher price tag. It's going to be close to $200. But that's shipping costs for the most part. And if you do buy from certain places, I do know like Troll and Toad has a deal where like they do free shipping if you buy all your over $10 worth of cards. So that's just an example with Troll and Toad. So you could actually legitimately get this value. I mean, you're going to spend a little more, like say with Troll and Toad as an example, assuming you were going to buy this deck in bulk. And then, of course, Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, and like this card is a $10 card, which versus, oh, I don't know, Clearwing Synchro, or, oh, say, not Treeborn Frog, Totally Awesome, is this card's a heck of a lot cheaper for roughly $7 to $10. Now, the good news is you could even cut cost even further with this deck because some cards you don't need. Like for example, you do not need a Leviair. There's a card. There's a card. It's a Bujin card. I can't remember Bujinki. It's got where this one's Bujinte. It's Bujinki instead of T. But you get that one, and he requires 3 level 4s, which you can possibly do to get back Grand Maju, to save you some money there, because that card's worth maybe $1. You can go and get the common version of that. What I'm recommending here is there are various cards in this deck you don't need. You can go for the cheaper versions, Leviair being one of them. Instead of Scarlight, go for Hot Red Dragon Archfiend. Basically, you're still going to get the same result, just you won't get the effect damage. Not a big difference there. Make sure you go for the common versions instead of cards that come foil. I know people are rarity hoards and they like foil cards, but the truth of the matter is, the card does the same thing, regardless of how shiny it is. So, for example, why buy the ultimate rare or whatever or super rare of Michael and highest rarity of Black Rose when you can get them both common? Because they both come common now. Trust me, spend $1. Spend $1. It's a heck of a lot cheaper. Also, some free advice for budget players out there is use what you have. Like, for example, you have Grand Maju right here, right? This card is uber cheap, and this variant is uber cheap. Like, for example, you don't even have to use Thrashers. If you have Goblinbergs, it's basically the same thing. Now, granted, somebody could, say, Valor your Goblinberg, but shit happens. So in a nutshell, there you go. You can use anything you want, to achieve the same goals. Like I said, my biggest advice to you is to use the cards you have. The biggest thing is if you do own Lightsworn cards and you want to play this, spend some money for Fairy Tale Snows, spend it for Ties of the Brethren, and then get yourself a Walking Solemn. Doesn't matter which one it is. It could even be Cyber Dragon Infinity. You don't need Galaxy Soldiers to do it necessarily, because we are playing Instant Fusion. So what you can do there is you could buy the cheapo $1 Instant Fusions and then play Panzer Dragon and main deck some level 5 machines like Cyber Dragons, for example, or you could Cyber Dragon Sworn is an example of a deck that you could do that. Anyway, I've rambled on enough. This is the Chaotic Dragon. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave comments below. I will read them, and I do respond. I answer all questions, and I do take deck building requests. So feel free to do that at any point in time. And this is the Chaotic Dragon, signing